Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Just Believe Podcast. I'm your host, Herbie Mack. I'm already laughing. This is how you know this is going to be a great episode. Today I'm honored. I came across this young lady's live. She goes live like I feel like every day. I don't know how she does it. I'm trying to learn. But not only that she goes live, she interviews amazing people. And on the outside looking in, like somebody like, oh, she's always going live. But honestly, she really inspires me to push myself, right? Because she has the courage to interview others and hear their stories and their traumas. You may think it's easy. It's easy listening, but when you're interviewing somebody and you have went through your mental health challenges, it's hard. You know, you don't want to trigger your challenge or your trauma that you went through. So for her to do this, I applaud her, and I'm going to give her flowers right now because I think she's a superhero. I do a lot of interviews, and some of it can get overwhelming. From the sense of not of hearing their traumas, but or doing the interview processing and editing and all that other crap. But it takes a lot to hear someone's story, and then you question yourself of, am I healed? Man, I remember that moment of this and that. And honestly, like, I applaud her. Like, I don't know how often she goes live. I know I get the little Facebook notification. I'm like, she's doing it again. And I know she's not doing it for the followers, but she's doing it to share stories to help others heal. Mental health challenges happens a lot. And we got to do our part to normalize it. Okay, I'm going to try to get this right without the tongue twisting. Okay. I was tongue twisting earlier. Pratibha Dey, how are you doing?
Yeah, Pratibha Dey.
Hey.
Great. I am happy to be here. And this is an honor too. And we're very similar. So.
Yes. For my listeners that's trying to figure out, okay, why he has her on, tell them actually about yourself.
Wow, about myself.
Yes. Let's sit back and enjoy this.
Yes, so I'm Pratibha Dey. I'm 28 years young, and I am the creator and founder of Chai Together LLC. Here you go. And I founded Chai Together during the pandemic, and it's inspired by my mom, who has paranoid schizophrenia and IAD, which is also known as hypochondria. It's a somatoform disorder. And I was inspired with the words chai together because my mom and I had chai together every day. It's the Indian masala tea. And that's how I came up with the name. And yeah, so that's part of me.
No, I love it. I'm a huge tea and coffee drinker. So when I saw it, I was just like, okay, she has to love like tea. So I was trying to figure out like, where did it come from? So that's great that your mother inspired you to do that. Like, for someone who had mental health challenges, right? We try to block out the trauma. We look at the positive, right? The moments, right? And for you to remember the moments of, man, my mom and I was just sitting down having tea, right? Like, we're just sitting down having tea, whether we was talking about what was on TV or just sitting there in that awkward, comfortable silence. Wow. It's powerful. It says a lot about you.
Yeah. Wow. That just brings back memories of when I was hanging with my mom.
Yeah.
So nice.
Well, when I was going through my dark times and my moments, like, there are bright moments in there, right? It may seem negative, but there's special moments. Like for me, during my dark times, writing was key for me, right? This was the first time I felt comfortable releasing my feelings to myself. Like, you hear some things of saying like, oh, I'm gonna, you hear yourself like talking out loud or whatever, like, oh, like I'm rapping a rap song or whatever, but it's like you're rapping someone else's thoughts and stuff. So this is like the first time I'm rapping my own thoughts. I'm actually putting them on paper and understanding them. And that was like a bright moment for me to understand my feelings, to learn, okay, I felt like this, but why? And it's keep going and going and learning more about myself and understanding
Mm-hmm.
that I am not my trauma. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm.
My trauma does not define me. I'm just a person that's in this. We gonna get out of this. All we have to do is just believe, right? And that was the thing that saved my
That's right.
life. And I always take like, yeah, when I tell my story, it's dark. But that bright
Mm-hmm.
part was like sitting down and writing, taking those 15 minutes to myself to just clear my thoughts. So when I
Wow.
did feel like the world was too much, I didn't feel that much pressure anymore. It was like, oh, okay, cool. I
Mm.
still had a bad day, but it made me it's not a bad life. I got some of that out, you know? So I think it's beautiful. Um, we was talking off the air and I
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed every second of it. So you were saying a little bit about where you was from. Can you let the listeners know where you're from?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I'm born in New Delhi, India, and I came to the States in 1999. So I was 6 years young.
How was that for you?
I remember it. I remember sitting on the luggage and coming here, and I always heard, great things about America, such as myths, such as you don't get sick here, and things like that, like as if it's so perfect. But yeah, I discovered seeing Black people for the first time, and the foods, Oreos, and all different kind of things, and I became obese fast.
Just from the like the processed food.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
For me, I don't know, like being around like the McDonald's and having Oreos was like the norm. And I'm pretty sure like for your
Mm.
family, yeah, I was having a home cooked meals. Like, don't get it twisted, y'all. I was having home cooked meals as well, but it was so easy to just like go get a Happy Meal or go get like, whatever. But for your family, how was that? Like, was they okay with you eating the processed food in the beginning, or they was just like, hey, you're messing up the whole like vibe where you normally used to having
Mm.
family dinners?
No, like they gave it to us. You know what I mean? Like there's times I'm going to school, I'm having like 10 Oreos, 8 Oreos with milk as breakfast every day. And my mom gave me that.
I wish I had your mom. Okay.
And like I used to eat like a whole bag of chips, like spicy Harris chips. That was like the norm in our home. Like
Okay.
eat.
So it sounded like you guys ingested very well.
Mm.
On that aspect, like you said that you came for like your like from a wedding, right? For a wedding or whatnot when you came over here.
Mm. Yeah, I came here because we're just moving. My brother had lived here already, and we're coming here for his wedding, but also to stay.
Okay. How did you feel? I know you're 6, but
Hmm.
like, did you feel like, oh yeah, I'm excited to come to America, or you just really was like,
Yeah, I
like,
had a best friend. I remember her name was Maggie, and we said bye to her. And like I knew I was going to America, and I was excited. But as a child, you don't think that the things that you're gonna be facing like are coming your way. So it's like I didn't know that. Oh, all the things that are about to happen to me are all called trauma.
yeah, because it's probably a lot to
Yeah.
move to learn a whole new culture. And was you talking English during this time? Like, was your English very
No,
like,
I didn't speak English.
oh man, so that had to be rough.
Yeah.
Like I love kids, but they
Hmm.
can be mean.
Yeah, they're bullies.
Yeah.
One time I confused Reese's and the word recess, and the kids just looked at me like and turned around, like she's weird.
um
But yeah.
on that aspect of like now you're getting older, now you trying to figure out
Hmm.
yourself. Um where I'm trying to ask this question on like where did you realize that things was going wrong as far as
Hmm.
like during your trauma, right? Like better yet, what is your trauma that you experienced?
I experienced incest when I was 5 while I was in India. And then moving forward, I experienced molestation via family members from different family members from about maybe like 8 to 10 or so. And then I experienced like brutal physical abuse at 16 from another family member. Led me to go to the police station, which turned me away and sent me back home, and said I was a false statement. Then basically no counselor help, no social worker came back, and I was kind of just left there and suicidal at, I think 15, 16. Took a bunch of pills, possibly sleeping pills. But yeah, like I wanted to go because the pain was just unbearable. And moving forward from that was, like losing my virginity at 19 and then after, like feeling empty afterwards. Right, there's someone here. So, yeah, because it wasn't right the way it happened. And then, serious steps. That's why. And then, so yeah, moving forward from there led me to date a narcissist, and just a lot of domestic violence at home, from when I was young until even now when I just left, because they both have mental illness, like both my parents, like all of my family members do, right? And I did it as well. The person just left, so I could talk. So
you're fine.
Those things led me to, those traumas at a young age led me to have body dysmorphia, which is, paranoia about your body. Like I didn't show any skin. I didn't have any confidence. I was very paranoid about like stretch marks. And I was always called fat and things when I was younger. Like I was the biggest girl and I matured real fast. And I was bullied by my own family about my weight, from my relatives. It caused me body dysmorphia. Like I didn't even wear like half sleeves t-shirts. Like I didn't want to show my skin. I hated my skin. And I remember I would pinch my skin and like pray to God at night to not wake up with this body, that people have projected onto me, that it's so horrible, And it's so interesting because I always Google and research everything. I love studying. And I came across body dysmorphia. Like I Googled, hey, being paranoid about your skin or whatever, right? And I was quite young, and I got myself out of it through becoming a CrossFitter and through, losing the weight and having confidence and dating again and multiple things. And honestly, just that led me to my confidence is by me resolving it myself. Like I didn't have any therapy or any medications or anything like that. So yeah, moving from that time, so like growing up, like I was just dating a lot of people that were not good for me. And because I didn't know any better. And I also didn't know how to share my traumas. I didn't communicate, which led me to be an interpersonal communication major, because I thought that would fix things. Like I could fix my broken family. That didn't work. And so just last year, I came back last year. So I found solace in children, and I got my education degree as well. And then I studied child development associates as well. And I started substitute teaching, and then we had a family daycare as well. So I did all of those things, which led me to go to Thailand to volunteer and also teach kids as an ESOL certified teacher, which I am. And that led me to meeting somebody who didn't have the best intention for me, who was a teacher as well, abroad. And I met this person, and I impulsively got engaged with them very fast, not knowing that they have the intention of scamming me for US visa in 2019. So last year. And I found myself pregnant with twin children in my second trimester. And this gentleman had left me, doing his own thing, drinking, and all of those things wasn't there. I was homeless at this point, malnourished. I had no money for food because I had actually missed my flight to stay for this gentleman. And then I had become pregnant, and he said he was going to take care of everything, the whole spiel. And that person was gone. And not even to where they would move in to help me while I was pregnant. Not only that, I didn't know I was expecting twins until I went to the abortion clinic after I returned to the States. So at this point, I basically ran for my life because I thought the gentleman was going to hurt me or kill me. I didn't feel safe. So I used to go and hide in someone's room if I felt like he was coming while I was living abroad, and just really ran for my life at 5 a.m. Went on planes for 26 hours until my friend helped me get back home. And then I was on my friend's couch while pregnant. And I was in the most lowest point of my life because I didn't know how I was going to raise this kid. I thought was one, but my motherly instinct knew it was two. And I always asked God for twins, and I got it. I always wanted to be I wanted to be engaged. I got it, but it was just because I was in trauma, it didn't go right. So that's to tell you not to rush things. And my ex-boyfriend that I was actually with for 8 months, my healthiest relationship, and he's an artist, a painter. And he told me that I'm going to get myself into trouble if I rush so much, because I wanted to rush being married to him, because I wanted to create my perfect family since I didn't have that growing up. And that's what happened. And so I had surgery in my second trimester, and this was my first pregnancy, and I've never been through anything like that before. And especially as a teacher, for me to have my own kids and be separated from them, that was very heavy. And then I made a decision that day that I'm going to be successful because their death can't go in vain. Ever since then, I put my nose to the ground, and here I am today. Yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that powerful story. First of all, no, like it is. It's very it's very powerful because there's someone out there that's probably in a similar situation, and I want them to understand that there is like happiness at the end, right? Like you had to.
That's right.
You had to learn how to overcome some childhood trauma, right? And I'm a big advocate for getting therapy and seeking help, which it seemed like you tried to, but the help wasn't listening, right? and and I always tell people, especially now, like we have access on like Google, DuckDuckGo, whatever search engine that you use, right? To find the proper help for people to speak our language, right? And understand us. And I think it's so important for that. You, unfortunately, you had to learn how to be your own therapist, right?
That's right.
And which is challenging, right? Especially having childhood trauma. We may not realize or recognize it until we become adults, right? Like, I didn't realize my childhood traumas until I was like 28, 29, right? And it was kicking my ass. There's no other way, right? I'm like, yo, what is going on? Why am I bugging out for something that happened at 12, right?
Yeah.
And I had to learn like do writing to okay. Now I see the trauma at 12 that I went through. You learn from probably doing the CrossFit, exercising, one of my biggest things. You learned a lot about yourself to CrossFit because it takes a different breed to do that. You have to mentally be strong enough to say, hey, okay, I'm going to do these curls. I'm going to do this deadlift. And I'm going to give you some burpees. First of all, everybody knows I hate burpees, but I will do them. Okay. But you have to understand that, right? And therapy for you was exercising. And you probably, once you, okay, let me go take my ice bath, realize some things that came up. Now you understand them, process them. You know, when you're 12, you can't process that. You don't know how to process that. You're crying for help. Hey, I need help. I need help. And the help is not listening. You're like, okay, well, I'm listening to myself. I'm going to do this on my own, which the healing journey is a journey. It is a marathon, not a race. I keep telling people that. Don't think just because I healed from my trauma within about 2.5 years doesn't mean I'm fully healed. There's still some more healing I have to do. And for you, even though you're still on your healing journey, you are comfortable talking about it. You're still healing. You're still learning more about yourself every day. And I think it's beautiful, and I want people to understand that. But I wanted to unfortunately, I want to backtrack
Mm-hmm.
to something that I that like I was trying not to show a face because like it really hurts my heart that someone with a beautiful heart,
Mm-hmm.
right, goes out and say, I'm gonna help kids. Not only I'm gonna help kids, I'm gonna go to a whole different country to help kids.
Mm-hmm.
The universe, God, whatever you want to call it, the divine, gave me these tools to connect with the youth. I'm gonna do this. And when you went over there, you probably wasn't prepared for this, but you probably
Mm-hmm.
had so much trauma working with kids that you didn't realize that you was rushing things.
Mm.
Was there any signs now that you think about it, right, in hindsight, that you can recognize of, yeah, I need to slow down. I need to learn more about myself.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like therapy never came to mind for some reason because I guess so many years I was without therapy that it just I never took the step, you know? But it's like I was learning about myself as I was fluctuating in and out of trauma and like the depression because I was very clinically depressed. I wanted to, I had suicide ideations plenty of times and I always, said, "Oh, I would go this way." And yeah, I was suicidal like my whole life up until even when I was there in Thailand in 2019. I was isolated. I didn't know anyone in the country. It made me depressed and suicidal. There were times where I didn't get up and go to work. Like I was clinically depressed in another country because those traumas don't go away. Like you were saying earlier when we were off air, and that's just really it. And it's like it was a blessing what happened to me. It's horrible what happened, but it happened for me. And it's great I'm able to say that quick and fast. The quicker I realize, the quicker I know, because it's a blessing because I actually dreamt about Chai Together came about because of my children, and I had a dream and I dreamt of the mugs, and I sketched the design like the next day of like the mug, and then turned my pain into purpose about my mom. So it all was like a collaboration, and it got me to talk because I had been through just so much that enough was enough, and it got me to talk. There would be no Chai Together if I never went through losing my children that way. Mm-hmm.
I love how you put that together as far as like
Mm-hmm.
the trauma that you had went through, but it's like how I said, you shine the light with speaking to your mom about it, having Chai
Mm-hmm.
Together. And then you just realizing, wait, my children didn't die because for nothing. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna use this horrible experience, right? Like I am
Mm-hmm.
this trauma, like it is rough, but I'm gonna use this and I'm gonna create a legacy that's for them.
That's right.
That is like drop the mic powerful. Like seriously.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's why I said like in the beginning, like you are a true superhero because some people may never pick themselves up or never look at that perspective of yeah, I'm gonna do this for them still.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So that takes a different
Mm-hmm.
type of courage. Unfortunately, you had experienced other traumas with dealing with a narcissist, as far as just someone trying to
Mm-hmm.
use you to get to the States, live their lifestyle. And I like it's like what I said off air, like karma's gonna come back to you no matter what.
That's right.
Like no matter what. Like I'm trying not to really curse too much because I am frustrated because
Yeah, it's a horrible and it's a horrible intent to do that to someone, especially when I didn't want a pregnancy. And just to be very frank, I told the person, like, did you use protection? Like, we're not, you know what I mean? There's no safety on my end. So it's like, I need you to use safety and I need to go back to, the States and finish school. Like, I had goals and dreams, like, and, but I was still lost, but I knew I wasn't ready like for pregnancy. But at the same time, it's like once we were engaged, I was like, okay, well, whatever happens, happens. I was really, the thing is when there's trauma, you just kind of keep diving into that black hole. I was like, oh, whatever happens, happens. Oh, I'll get
yeah.
pregnant. Like I was just really careless.
I like how you said that
So
because now
careless. I was
yeah,
like, oh, I don't
yes.
care about my life.
it's like a black
really
hole. Like, it's
didn't.
just like
I
you.
was like, if I die, I die. Like I was just so cynical. Like I didn't care.
No, no, I love that black hole reference because
Yeah, damn
on the
right.
outside, because like on the outside looking in, people
Hmm.
don't, if you never deal with depression, you don't understand it, right? So that black
Black
hole
hole.
analogy is like, okay, people may use Jesus take the world. No, the black hole is like, no, like I'm just gonna go. Like, all right, whatever you take me, if this
That's
leads
what
to
was
death, yeah.
happening.
If this leads to death, it leads to death. And I love how you said
That's
that.
right. Because I saw the red flags in the gentleman, and friends of mine at the time saw it. And also, only two of those people are still in my life today because my whole tribe left my side and ghosted me when I became pregnant and homeless. And that really showed me that I don't need to surround myself with those people because those people haven't healed from their own traumas. But also, I realized that my best friend at the time, and it was not the best person for me. The influence I had for years was very unhealthy, and I was like, it all happened for a reason. It woke me up. Like the emotional impact Bob Proctor talks about, that was my 9/11. But I needed that because I remember being in Thailand and like praying to God, like literally sitting on bed, like, put me through whatever you need to put me through to make me the woman that I need to become. Like I really asked for that. Like I asked for everything to happen, not in the way it happened, but I asked for me to be shaken out of my trauma. And I really did get what I asked for. But I also knew that my kids weren't here for a long time. Like I didn't have attachment in a sense, but eventually, like I started talking to them, but I just didn't have an attachment because I knew the intention was wrong of what that man did. And I would not bring his children into this world. I don't want his blood. Um, I don't want any association. And also, that means that he would come here. I don't want that for the rest of my life to have any kind of association with somebody like that. Even he could have even got physical because there's a time where, it's very aggressive and it's like, no, thank you. Just because of one thing you did wrong and because you didn't know any better, you were in trauma, doesn't mean that you have to carry that and live that for the rest of your life. I'm not going to carry it through these kids. It's like they knew, like it's like I sensed it. Like they say in spirituality, like the soul leaves, like if it knows it's not right for the body. Like I was having panic attacks. I had 3 panic attacks in my pregnancy. One of them, the gentleman caused it. I was on the ground pregnant having a panic attack, and he was just like cursing me out and things over the phone, and I just like had a panic attack because of the way the person was speaking to me at his high anxiety. I also was malnourished. Like I was losing weight while being pregnant. You know what I mean? It's like I didn't have proper food to eat, and I was in no shape or form to give birth to 2 children. And those are higher risk pregnancies as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, no, that was great. Can you repeat this saying in spirit? I can't look. I'm getting tongue twisted.
Spirituality.
Yes, thank you. I forget a tongue twisted, but yes, I
So
want you
like,
to. I want no. I just want
no.
you to say this saying because I think that's powerful, and I want people to understand that because I'm a very spiritual person as well.
Yeah, so I learned from Sadhguru. Do you follow Sadhguru?
Nope, but I will after this.
Yeah, Sadhguru says, at 12 weeks is best to abort when a woman finds out that's about, and like yeah, when a woman finds out, she's pregnant, because after that the baby really starts to form, and it's like you want to do it earlier the better, but the soul does leave, and it's like it will come back to you. I know my kids are going to come back to me in the future in a better situation, and I'm going to know it was them, like who was there before. And if not, that's fine too. But it's really said that, and we also have 2 souls, one on the bottom of each of our feet, if you didn't know. And it's in the book Death by Sadhguru. But he helped me survive that time. Like I meditated every day. I didn't have any, I was in shock, I'd say, but I can't say I had depression or anything. I lived a very normalcy, even though I was homeless, like in different places all the time. I meditated and I exercised and I ate right. And Sadhguru's videos helped me survive. Like when I say, like, I don't know who would have got me through that time, like I really don't know. Like I was homeless, like I had no base, like as in no permanent place. That's a lot. And then also I was physically abused after my abortion, and I hit the person back. It was someone in my family who hit me because they felt like they had the power to do so. And for the first time in my life, I stood up for myself because I was a victim to that, right? All these years. And I hit them back. And the same person, regarding incest and all of that. And I hit them back and I said, you know what? And I exposed them to my parents. I said, you did this to me when I was this age. And I let it out because I was going to take these secrets to the grave. And I was like, I have nothing to hide. Like, I just lost my kids. I'm angry. I will fuck you up. Like, you know what I mean? And I was effing them up. And someone stopped us in between. And otherwise, I don't know where it would have went, but they denied it. And yeah, and that's their choice. But I know what the truth is, and people don't just make these things up. And, so.
Yeah, that's like our conversation. That's when you off air when I was saying like this is the first time I felt like I had my power back. I stood up for myself, and that's the moment right
That's
there.
right.
You stood up for yourself, and then that's the turning moment to create the woman that I'm speaking to today.
Yeah, I was liberated. I was happy. I called my, best friends at the time, and I was like, I never told you this. I never told nobody, but I was like, this happened. And I shared with the person who the person was, and I was like, you know what? I feel free. And I was laughing because they're the people who caused me the clinical depression, body dysmorphia, all these things that I didn't put onto myself. They did. You know what I mean? Like, they made me feel that way. Yeah, it's like it was my thought, right? Repeating the thoughts that made it real. But it's because of their influence. The environment is very important. So I've been free since. Like, I don't suffer from anything. I'm normal as can be now. Like,
No, I love it.
My therapist, I'm teaching my therapist skills and things. So I graduated therapy because I outgrew therapy. Like, that's how good I got at this. And this is only 8 months ago now. This all happened, but it's only 6 months now, I think.
No, that's great. That's great. You're actually going to give people not only perspective of
Yeah.
like the possibilities, but also that empowerment of like, she did this, I can do this, right? As
That's
far as
right.
as far as as not only of being that victim, quote unquote, because when you're young, right? Like, you're not at fault. Somebody took advantage of you. I always tell people like, let go of that guilt. You couldn't do nothing about it. Like, if this person is, let's say, like, you're 4 and this person is like 16, they're naturally stronger than you. You can't do nothing about that. But
That's
what you
right.
can do is learn how to heal, let go, and hopefully one day be as brave as you and stand up for yourself and say, not today, Satan. You remember when you did this to me? Nah, now it's my turn. Now let me do this to you, because these hands can hit, right? And do that, right? Like, it's real though. Like
Oh,
I
they
haven't,
didn't like that. Yeah.
but
And, off air, we are talking about the right therapist. Everything aligned after I made that decision. Like, I got the right therapist, and it was actually 9 months I was in therapy and I graduated. And I told my therapist I was moving here, and she's just so proud and at my growth and at my speed and everything I've done. It's incredible. And coming up, Les Brown is going to be, I'm collaborating in a book with Les Brown. And I think that's like really incredible because it goes back to the suicidal thoughts like 8 years ago. I think when I was like 20, I was suicidal, laying on the floor, and I would listen to his "It's Not Over Until You Win." And someone showed me that. And I told myself, like, I'm going to meet this man. And 8 years later, I spoke on 2 of his summits. And now I'm in a book collaboration with him. It's just incredible.
the power of affirmation. I tell people that.
Yeah.
Like, it's real. Like, off air, I
That's
said,
right.
hey, you're going to be a Super Soul Sundays with Oprah. And I'm telling you, you
I
will be.
am.
I'm putting it in a podcast, and I want people to understand that the power of affirmation is real.
It really is real.
For you, it was Les Brown. And for me, it was Eric Thomas, right?
That's right. I also seen Eric when I was 20. Yeah.
I met him, and then now to go through his program and crush it, right? And it's like, wow, like, Yeah, I actually met dude, and not only that, like I was actually
Yeah.
like, working with dude in a sense,
Yeah.
being a student from him. But I wanted to get that out there because I want people to understand that. Like,
Hmm.
just because you may be at rock bottom, quote unquote, now doesn't mean you have to stay there. You have to
Damn right.
it's something that you put on the title of this, and I might name the podcast this. You have to
Mhm.
think into results.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I might have to make a gif out of
That's
that.
right.
She was like, "Oh yeah." um, but for the listeners out there, right? I'm gonna ask you
Mhm.
this question, and it's someone that's currently in a tough situation, going through a mental health challenge or even a mental health crisis. What advice would you give them?
What advice would I give?
Yes.
I would tell them to get professional help. And if they're not ready for professional help, speak to someone who you trust, of course. But one thing I could have done is really collapse time. Because I remember when I went through the physical abuse and I actually told the same abuser I need therapy and they laughed at me. They said, "What do you need therapy for?" You know what I mean? That whole scenario. But I was so smart and wise enough to know what I just went through, I need therapy for. That's incredible to me. It's like I always have the insight to listen to myself. So I would really say start with therapy, whether it's like Reiki, hypnotherapy, or just, traditional psychotherapy, psychiatrist, whatever it is. But I really would just say that my therapist changed my life. Like I owe my new life to her. And she said it's because I did the work. But let me the power of therapy is so real because I wouldn't have collapsed that time in these 9 months. There's people who would have been possibly depressed, right? After the things that I've experienced. And I wasn't because I had a listening ear, not even that, support groups, NAMI, National Alliance for Mental Illness. And they have free, support groups every 2 weeks. Also for additional, you can get additional help. And then they have Catholic Charities, well, in New Jersey, I don't know if it's everywhere. And then there's also church, like the church offers services, regardless of religion too. It's like sisters, a sister circle. So there's free options as well. And until this day, I still see, like I can always go back to my therapist, and I still have like a counselor that's through my mom, but still hears me out. But I would really just recommend people to start. If you don't feel comfortable talking to people, I would start with journaling because writing is key and it saved me too. And yeah, I really would just express myself in art or whatever it is for them.
I love it. I love it. Unfortunately, we run out of time. So this is the best part for me. If
Mhm.
somebody is intrigued or want to check out what you're doing, please let them know
Mhm.
where to find you at.
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook, Pratibha Dey. We have a Chai Together community, which is where these mugs come from. So I actually designed these mugs. And this is a diya, from Diwali, which is the Indian holiday, and it represents light. So it's shining light on mental health journeys. It's just Chai Together, one journey at a time. And I came up with this, and I shared a bit of why. And you can find me on Instagram, Chai Together, or Free Spirits Fly, my personal page, and also Chai Together podcast page, and Chai Together on YouTube. So Chai Together. If you just type Chai Together, I'll come up. If you type Pratibha Dey, I will come up all over Google. So
I love it. And don't forget, everything will be in the show notes and the description as well. Until then, guys, we see you next time. Peace.
namaste.